have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Epictetus says it best. A pleasant day to all grade 10 learners. I am teacher Christina and you are watching DepEd MP TV. Welcome to our first lesson for our first quarter entitled Listening is Everything. Learning competency. Use information from news reports, speeches, informative talks, panel discussions, and many more in everyday conversations and exchanges. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to 1. Show appreciation and understanding of talks, reports, and many more through active listening by applying techniques. 2. Appreciate speech by answering the questions correctly. 3. Show appreciation for government leaders, frontliners, and citizens using social media accounts. And 4. Improve communication skills by applying the techniques of active listening when conversing with other people.
Learners, let me ask you this. Why is listening an important aspect of communication? In 2018, a research on effective communication is posted at www.sickle.com. It states that in a day, an average person spends 70 to 80% of their time communicating with someone. And the average number of words a human being speaks per day is around 160,000. 50% of our time communicating is spent listening to the other person, ideally. However, most people usually remember only 17 to 25% of what they listen to. And even more shocking is the fact that the other person perceives us as good listeners only 5 to 10% of the time. Isn't that alarming? To start with, let us be reminded of the difference between hearing and listening. While hearing is a physical process of the body, sound vibrations hitting our eardrums and the brain processing that, listening, on the other hand, involves mental attention and concentration. Therefore, active listening is the process by which an individual secures information from another individual or group. The word active involves taking steps to draw out details that might not otherwise be shared by the speaker. It truly helps you understand and not just what you want to hear or think you hear. In active listening, the listener also conveys to the speaker that they are paid full attention to. Here are the 5 stages of active listening. Stage 1. Listening with body language. First, S stands for square shoulders. Face the person square and straight, your shoulders facing their shoulders. Second, O stands for open posture. Avoid crossing your arms or legs. Third, L stands for lean forward. It conveys interest and involvement. Fourth, E stands for eye contact, but not merely staring. It conveys that you are focused. Fifth, R stands for relax. Take a deep breath, relax, and be in the present moment. When you are relaxed and focused, so will your speaker be. You can apply these easy techniques in all your conversations, with friends, family, and other people. Stage 2, paraphrasing, means to express the meaning using different words. Asking questions, on the other hand, refers to the open-ended questions that help the other person share in detail, and opposite to the close-ended questions, which are for one-word answers. Stage 3, meaning and reflection. Being able to connect with a person speaking to you and elicit the right meaning will make you a trustworthy and authentic person who does not always impose their views on others. This is a building block to long-term relationships that we are all capable of practicing. Stage 4, empathy. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, and that empathy always leads to action. This will happen when we are completely in the moment and listening to the person without judgment and prejudice, and with respect for the other person's feelings. The beauty of being a human is that we can express our emotions and feel the emotions of others. It is natural to us. It makes us a more connected person and help make the world a better place. Stage 5, action. This is now the highest stage of active listening. In this level, we listeners can now first share our experience. Second, empower others to learn. Third, offer direct help. Fourth, share a reference person to help. And fifth, give advice. How well you listen has a major impact on your effectiveness and on the quality of your relationship with others. What's more, as learners, when you truly listen, you are able to first, obtain information. Second, understand. Third, enjoy. And fourth, learn.
To be able to build trust and establish rapport, to demonstrate concern, to ask specific questions, and to use brief verbal affirmations can improve our everyday conversations and exchanges with other people. Here are 5 key techniques of becoming an active listener which supports the 5 stages of active listening that we discussed earlier. 1. Pay attention. 2. Show that you're listening. 3. Provide feedback. 4. Defer judgment. And 5. Respond appropriately.
First, we said we pay attention. In here, we must give the speaker our undivided attention, acknowledge the message, and recognize that nonverbal communication also speaks loudly. How do we pay attention? 1. Look at a speaker directly. 2. Put aside distracting thoughts. 3. Don't mentally prepare a rebuttal. 4. Avoid being distracted by environmental factors. For example, side conversations. 5. Listen to the speaker's body language. Second, show that we are listening. We can use our body language and gestures to convey our attention. 1. Nod occasionally. 2. Smile and use other facial expressions. 3. Note your posture and make it open and inviting. 4. Encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes and uh-huh. 3rd, provide feedback. Our personal filters, assumptions, judgments, and beliefs can distort what we hear. As a listener, your role is to understand what is being said. This may require you to reflect what is being said and ask questions. Reflect what has been said by paraphrasing. What are some starter examples? What I'm hearing is all about tips to develop good study habits. Sounds like you're saying that it is important to adapt good study habits. Ask open-ended questions or close-ended questions to clarify certain points. What do you mean when you say peer influence may affect our good study habits? Being influenced by good peers is great. Is this what you mean? 4th, defer or delay judgment. Interrupting is a waste of time. It frustrates the speaker and limits full understanding of the message. As listeners, we allow the speaker to finish each point before asking questions. We don't interrupt with counter-arguments. 5th, we respond appropriately. Active listening is a model for respect and understanding. We are gaining information and perspective. We add nothing by attacking the speaker or otherwise putting him or her down. As listeners, be candid, open, and honest in our response. We assert our opinions respectfully. We treat the other person in a way that we think we should want to be treated. Here are some examples of statements and questions used with active listening. 1. Paraphrasing. So you want us to proceed with the original plan? 2. Brief verbal affirmation. I appreciate the time you've taken to speak to me. 3. Asking open-ended questions. I understand you aren't happy with your new car. What changes can we make to it? 4. Mentioning similar situations. I was in a similar situation after my previous school projects. 5. Asking specific questions. How many school projects did you accomplish? Aside from listening actively to people personally, we can also apply listening techniques when listening to news reports, informative talks, and panel discussions in social media. Before listening, we must remember the basic content or parts of a news article. We can easily locate the headline of the news report because it is the title itself. Next is to find the byline which states the author or reporter who wrote the article. Then discover lead paragraph that captures the reader's attention, which gives the main information about the subject, including who, what, when, where, why, and how. Following the lead is the body that includes supporting information and quotes that flesh out the lead, giving it more substance. Lastly, we recognize the final part of the news, which is the additional information containing the least important information. In here, the reporter or author might add details about history or other events connected with the subject. If the news becomes too long, the additional information is simple to remove without affecting the rest of the news. Now that you're already equipped with the techniques of active listening, you can now watch the news report on this given link. And here is your listening guide to understand the news report. First, what is the headline of the news report? Second, who was the reporter? Third, in 2 to 3 sentences only, summarize the body of the report. Fourth, in 2 to 3 sentences only, summarize the lead of the report. And lastly, in 1 to 2 sentences only, give your comment or reaction about what was reported. This time, we're going to listen to informative talks such as TED or Technology, Entertainment, Design Talks and other speeches. What is informative talk? Informative talks intend to provide information, to enlighten, to teach, and to educate the audience. What is TED Informative Talk? TED is an American media organization that posts talks online that is dedicated to researching and sharing knowledge that matters through short talks to inform and educate global audiences in an accessible way. Examples of informative talks: doctor talking to a group about ways to avoid disease, guest speaker presenting information to a group of students about how to apply for college. Informative TED Talks topics: your elusive creative genius, body language, the power of vulnerability, philosophy for a happy life, the danger of a single story, how to separate fact and fiction online, the moral bias behind your search results, and how not to be ignorant about the world. Applying the techniques of active listening, watch and appreciate the 20-minute informative TED talk on this given link. And here are your listening open-ended questions to understand the powerful speech or TED talk entitled The Danger of a Single Story. 1. What is the problem of a single story according to Adichie? 2. Why was Adichie startled when she visited Fides village? 3. Why was Adichie's roommate shocked? 4. Adichie talks about the possibility in the single story. What does she mean by this? 5. How can we regain a kind of paradise according to Adichie? On the second column, there are answers that we may paraphrase. 1. The single story destroys a person's dignity through unsolicited judgment. 2. Adichie had only believed that Fides' family is poor through her mother's side of stories. 3. Her roommate did not expect that she can speak the English language so well. 4. There is a possibility of equality between Americans and Africans in all circumstances. And 5. It is the moment when we become more sensible to find the only truth about any story. Moving on to listening to panel discussion, We define it as a specific format used in a meeting, conference, or convention where live or virtual discussion about a specific topic is discussed in front of an audience. It is made up of the following. A panel involves the instructor who ensures that all panelists and the moderator are familiar with the procedures. The panelists who prepare, share, and present their paper. The panel moderator who makes sure that the panel is talking about timely issues that the audience cares about. And the audience who present variant points of view on the topic selected. As such, a diversity of opinion is an advantage. Applying the techniques of active listening, watch and appreciate the panel discussion on this given link. While watching, you may observe the following. 1. The panel discussion was planned and conducted well. The venue is suitable for the activity. The moderator keeps the discussion going. The moderator emphasizes some, if not all, the important points. The moderator herself has an idea of the topic. The moderator is at the middle or is surrounded by the panelists. The panelists contributed something. The panelist knows what they are talking about. To appreciate it more, you may provide feedback and respond appropriately. 1. What would you have asked about bullying? 2. What would you have added about bullying? Sample answers. I would have asked how parents and school personnel can effectively work together to address this issue by following the 3 R's. Recognize, respond, and report. Another possible answer, I would have added that the most effective way to stop the bullying acts is to prosper one's self-awareness of good values and positive attitudes. If the analogy says, bullies begets bullies, then respect begets respect. And so the latter then speaks the best solution. And now for the last part, all grade 10 are required to post a shout-out. How? Consider the situation of every human being right now. First, think and reflect on the learnings drawn from listening to the messages of the news reports, informative TED talk, and the panel discussion you have listened to earlier. Second, think and reflect on the effect of pandemic to our well-being, economy, educational system, our life in general. Think of your family, neighbors, fellow learners, frontliners, government leaders, all people in the world, and your private self. Now, think of an uplifting shout-out. Action for all of us. Open your Facebook account. Search We Can Heal as One Class 2021 to 2022 and ask to be a member of the group. This will be used to consolidate your voice, stand, and action. Post your unique and uplifting shout-out. Example, We Can Heal as One. That is our group account. Next line, hashtag, let us always trust the power of our Creator. Next line, hashtag, pigeon. That is your sample section.
To answer my question earlier, active listening is important because it is the first step to excellence in communication. Wow, it looks like we've hit everything on. Before we end this lesson, please don't forget to post your shoutout on our FB account. We can heal as one. Once again, this is Teacher Christina leaving you a wise reminder. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Thank you very much for your active listening. Keep safe and go with a mountain proudly.